Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now lately, other than the Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence fight, the biggest thing we've been talking about of late has to be Devin Haney versus Lomachenko and the so-called robbery and the things we've been hearing about that, right? And I was always talking about how could we call that a robbery? Even the 116 to 112 score at the end of that fight, right? But 115, 113, and we calling it a robbery, unanimous decision. And I'm thinking, everybody's outraged about Lomachenko not getting that fight. And I was worried about, why are we not talking about Jermaine Ortiz? It's the fight Lomachenko just had before. And there was no outrage for Jermaine Ortiz. We just moved on along. Do you know somebody for the Jermaine Ortiz versus Lomachenko? Somebody, what's the dude's name? Lambardi, right? Judged the fight 117, 111. Jermaine Ortiz versus Lomachenko. Now, that was the real robbery. That was absurd. First of all, Jermaine Ortiz won the fight. I just went back and watched it, and I encourage you guys to do the same thing. Go back and watch it and just judge the damn fight yourself. Whatever. I was on a feed where Jamel Herring and a female commentator were. At the end of the fight, they didn't really know who won, right? Because Jermaine Ortiz was in the fight. Now, I'm just going to go through it. I gave Jermaine Ortiz round 1. You check it out. Dominated it. Gave him round 2 as well. Easily scored. Round 3, I gave even. You know why I gave it even? Because Lomachenko landed that, he landed the left hand and the right coming behind it. And your boy Ortiz stumbled. And they showed it about 3 times, right? And that would make you believe that Lomachenko won the whole round. If you watch the whole round, that's not really the case. That's why that round was a draw, right? I gave Lomachenko, I gave Ortiz round 4 because he was clowning Loma, right? Clowning him. And I gave Lomachenko round 5, right? Now, after round 5, do you know that they said that the copy bounce numbers were 43-43 with punches? You watch the first 5 rounds, or you tell me if those punches were 43-43 after round 5. No way. Round 6, I gave Ortiz. Round 7, because Ortiz went a little bit southpaw and towards the end of 6. And in round 7, he stayed southpaw, and he won that one too. Round 8, he was clowning Loma again, but it was close. I gave that to Ortiz too. Round 9, I gave that to Loma. He landed the uppercut, but pushed old boy's head back, and they kept showing it 2 or 3 times. So, you know, everything else, even though it was a close round, got to give it to Loma. I gave Loma round, what was the one after that? Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Gave Loma round 10 as well. I gave round 11 a draw, and I gave Loma round 12. And I ended up with the score 116-114, right? 116-114. Now, the scorecards were 115-113 Lomachenko, 116-112, which is just as egregious. Egregious shouldn't have been 116-112. No way Lomachenko won that many rounds. And then 117-111 is absolutely absurd. That was the real robbery. Any outrage for Jermaine Ortiz. Jermaine Ortiz had never been 12 rounds before. Never been 12 rounds before. Nobody celebrated this young brother. Never been 12 rounds before. And clowned Lomachenko. He clowned him. Had a good time in the ring. Never been in a fight with that guy, with somebody so celebrated and so much experience. And he goes in there, wins that fight. And those scorecards are ridiculous. 116-112, but to have won 117-111, that means, you know what? They gave Ortiz 3 rounds. You look at that fight, right? And tell me that Ortiz only won 3 rounds. I'm telling you what rounds. Just why I told you, so you can go back and say, oh, well, he said round 2. And you go look at that round 2 to see if I'm nuts or not. Right? That's the kind of thing. There was no outrage. And then the very next fight, Lomachenko doesn't look that good against Devin Haney to where he's supposed to win the fight. And we all outraged. The outrage should be for Jermaine Ortiz because he's in obscurity right now. Lomachenko does not need to fight Devin Haney in a rematch before he fights Jermaine Ortiz in a rematch. So Jermaine Ortiz can get back in the picture, because somebody looking that good should not be ignored. And if Lomachenko looks so good against Devin Haney, the young little dude Devin Haney, then damn it, Jermaine Ortiz, who never been past a 10-round fight, goes in there and beats Lomachenko, and it gets ignored. And somebody gives him 117, 111. That's egregious. So we're going to be talking about robberies. Like I said, I'm just repeating myself. Jermaine Ortiz was robbed. Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm about to hear y'all.